This story has no moral, but only a fact. Long, long ago, before anything really existed at all, before planets and moons, before oceans and teacups and grasses and trees, before your great-great-grandparents were little children with eyes for cookies, Father Sky and Mother Earth were one. There was no separation between them, and they lived in the blue void of air that goes on without end. Over time, as all things change, so did the one being of Father Sky and Mother Earth. Slowly, Father Sky and Mother Earth became two separate beings, not wholly at first, but first their eyes saw different things, and then their mouths breathed different air, and after a long time their arms reached out in different directions to explore and understand the endless blue void. And as they became two, they noticed one another for the first time as something else. A funny thing happened. As their souls became two, they at last found each other, and their souls fell in love. The first true match made in heaven, some might say. And so the time stretched long and wan for Father Sky and Mother Earth, and the two kept their embrace even as they still slowly separated. And as they grew apart, they held each other even tighter. And as all things change with time, the love of Father Sky and Mother Earth created their first two children, Castor and Pollux. Now, as Father Sky and Mother Earth were still even now mostly one, they both each gave birth to one twin on either side of themselves, individual, and could move about on its own. Yet each twin wasn't aware of their new life. They stretched and felt the depthless blue void, and were drawn into the blue void, where they swam about in circles, always following each other. More time passed, and Father Sky and Mother Earth grew more apart and more in love, as Castor and Pollux swam about in the blue above them. And when the time was right, from the midst of Father Sky and Mother Earth came the twins Sadel-Melek and Sadel-Sud. These two were not alike as Castor and Pollux, yet they were still twins and felt each other's presence as if it were their own. Like their elder siblings, they slowly unfolded into pure individuality, freely moving and feeling about. And after a time, just like Castor and Pollux, Sadel-Melek and Sadel-Sud ceased resisting the mysterious temptation of the blue void, and dove into its murky and serene depths. There they flew about with their brothers, above and around their entwined and enchanted parents below. As you might imagine, this went on for quite a while. Father Sky and Mother Earth went on to produce many twin children, each generation a little less like their siblings than the one before it. With each birth, Father Sky and Mother Earth grew a little more apart, and fell a little more in love. After a while, each put forth a child that was not like its sibling at all, as were Sun and Moon, and after them Venus and Saturn. They were truly unique, and not even like sisters or brothers, yet they all, one after the other, took up into the blue void to swim with their family and kin. Eventually, as all things change in time, Father Sky and Mother Earth grew to be completely separate individuals, even as they remained most definitely in love. and they had their last set of twins, who were really not like twins at all, and not so much like their older brothers and sisters either. These twins were man and woman, and they seemed to have no interest in the shimmering blue void as had their elder siblings. They only had interest in each other. But as Father Sky and Mother Earth stood between them, they could not touch. So man and woman reached around and prodded and whispered back and forth, but they could find no way through. Finally, man and woman decided that they had had enough, and that Father Sky and Mother Earth just had to be pulled out of the way. So they each grabbed hold of one and pulled with all their might, and slowly Father Sky and Mother Earth came apart. Father Sky and Mother Earth didn't at first realize what was happening, and simply thought it to be another new aspect of their love for one another. But soon they were totally apart, and having never been apart before, they knew not what to do nor how to move. They slowly floated out to the edges of the void, and man and woman came between them and embraced each other at last. Man and woman danced about in joy and happiness, and Father Sky and Mother Earth slowly realized what had been done and what their children had done to them. They had no desire to harm the creations of their love, and let the void have its way with them. Father Sky floated up above all creation, so that all his children flew and pranced about beneath him. Mother Earth floated to the bottom of all creation, so all her children flew and pranced about above her. And in between them to this day, man and woman and all the other children of Father Sky and Mother Earth have lived and played and enjoyed themselves, coddled by the love of that which created them. They fill a little part of that great blue void. And this was the first time that some lived happily on and by the service and misery of others, and the whole world works the same way to this day. Are you in the service industry?